1 year review of my small business. If you refer back 12 months to December 2022, you can watch that video and what some of my predictions were for the following year. And at the very end, I said that kind of my overall goal was to work a little bit less in 2023 and to focus on quality over quantity more so than in the previous year. And I did that to some extent. I only passed on a couple of projects, and they were mostly due to turnaround time. Like it was the following day right after coming off a long shoot. And this is how that played out in actual numbers of paid days worked. So just for some perspective, long ago, I was a partner at a production company. We had an office, we had a staff, I was managing several people. And in that context, if I wasn't out on set or traveling for business, I was in the office managing people, just like any other salaried full-time job. So here in the US, let's assume that works out to, of the 52 weeks in the year, assume you get a 2-week paid vacation. So you got 50 working weeks times 5 days a week. That's 250 work days. And then you get in the US between 7 to 10 paid holidays. So let's just call it 10 paid holidays. So there's 240 working days. Now, as a freelance director of photography that owns my own equipment and goes out and works mostly on a package rate, gear, and labor, billable days for me are either travel days or actual production days. And in 2022, I worked 128 billable days. So that's travel or shoot days. Does not include all the additional time I put in at home, kind of pre-booking the job, like sales effort, pre-production Zoom calls, which even though they may only go an hour, it kind of screws up my whole day. And it doesn't include all the time for bookkeeping, admin, and maintaining all of the equipment. Okay, so in 2023, I went in with the goal to work less. Honestly, I thought I worked less than I did, but it was 113 billable days in 2023. Now, in my vlog a year ago, this is the equipment I anticipated purchasing in the upcoming year, a Sony FX3, additional E-mount primes and zooms for the autofocus capability, even though I'm very well rounded on the PL side, zooms and primes, an ENG camera specifically for my news assignments, not for the live shots and interviews. It was more for the zoom range when shooting B-roll or being on stakeout assignments. And then my own transmission setup, basically acquiring a live view. And actual equipment purchased, I did pick up a Sony FX3. I got a little bit of a discount buying it used. E-mount lenses, I predicted I'd purchase a 35, 85, and a 70-200. I did buy the 70-200 and the 85. And in a quick lapse in judgment, I bought the 24 mil instead of the 35, thinking I would use the 24 for more vlogging. And I ended up only using it one time for one vlog so far. And instead, I've been in a few interview situations where I regretted not having a 35 mil prime, and I have not used the 24 on any actual paid work. But my end goal with that is to round out and have a complete like 5 or 6 lens E-mount set in the Sigma Art series. Did not buy an ENG camera, and I did okay without it. That's another like nice to have. I know I could do a better job with it, but customers are not actively asking me to purchase one, and I did not miss any work by not having one. Live View was a good call. I ended up buying that and having it FedExed overnight, and the morning it arrived, it was a Saturday morning, and I reached out to my clients and said, hey, I got a live view, and immediately got booked to go up to New York City and cover the President Trump arraignment in Manhattan. And then got a little bit less exciting. I ended up spending, I think 2 days staked out at the JFK airport just to get live shots and B-roll of the motorcade and the aircraft. But they ended up, there was amazing helicopter coverage. And I did really well this year. I did a bunch of work I would not have otherwise had. And I actually missed out on multiple assignments doing live shots for some other new clients for me, some other media outlets. In each case, I was already booked either on the same story or I was away on like a corporate video job when another outlet reached out and wanted me to go. And then when we went on our 10-day trip to Israel, family vacation, I missed out on multiple live shots for multiple outlets. But that's how that always goes. As y'all know, in the freelance world, the moment you make family plans, that's when all the work opportunity comes in. I bought a new drone, basically to have two. I only have one in the truck, now I have two. And then I bought the smart controller so my cell phone won't be tied up with the operation of the drone. And more importantly, I had some requests to do live drone shots. So smart controller with the HDMI output. And I did get out a few days with that equipment in the field successfully. And then in addition to the wish list, I picked up a few more aperture lights. I bought two of the 60X, which retired two of my old Arri 150 watt Fresnels, tungsten, quartz halogen, old school hot lights. Those are sitting in the garage. I need to give those away or try to sell them. They're just collecting dust now. Actually, I have a full tungsten set in the garage of 1Ks, 650s, 300s, and 150s to offload. And then I got, near the end of the year, two of the Amaran F22X foldable panels. Those are great. I like them a lot. And I'm thinking now going forward, I'm probably going to invest in some more dimensions of the light matte style units. I'd like to get a 4x4, maybe a 2x4, something to replace a traditional KinoFlow 4-foot 4-bank. And then I've been eyeing that. It's probably too big for me and my van package, but a 6x6 matte light. Last year, I had to pass on a few Canon days. There were scenarios where I would have been the B cam operator with like a DP coming in with a C300 package, and they wanted a local B C300, a local grip and lighting van package, audio, maybe some monitors, tripods, additional support kit. So like all in, I would have had days where I would have had most of my usual kit working, but because I didn't have a C300, the business either went to someone else or they ended up flying somebody in. I only know the particulars on one of them where they just did like a share grid thing for the Canon camera. But at any rate, it penciled out to about $10,000 in lost revenue by not having a C300 Mark III, which coincidentally is about the acquisition cost. So I've been debating. I don't really want to work just in exchange for having more gear sitting here in my garage. But my experience has also been like when I get to the point where I have enough business to pay off a piece of equipment, that's I'm kind of past the time when, I should have already bought it. Because I think if I had that Canon package, I would have picked up additional business. So I don't know. I may be going with some additional Canon kits this coming year. The thing I struggle with that, and I've done it in the past, is I can't have one. I got to have two. I got to have redundancy. And nowadays, everything's like your A camera is like a shoulder or tripod cam, and then the B cam is a little mirrorless type body. So I probably need to get, I don't even know what the models are, like an R5C and a C300 Mark III. Now, I think the C300 Mark III has been out since 2020. I don't really want to invest in a camera at this point that's that far along in its release cycle. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to watch that. But I think if I miss like one or two more bookings because they need to be that C line, and in each case they call asking for a C300. Like I don't think if I said, I have a C70, I would have got that work, because this is all like mid or higher end corporate or television assignments. And in the TV world, it seems like it's just like it's FX9 or it's C300 or it's Arri. And I can't think of the last time I had a red request. I was going to say red, but probably 2018 may have been, 17. I haven't shot red since I sold my reds in 2015 when I went Arri, and I had two Canon C300s for mid-range. Worked on a couple of Venice projects, and I was booked to shoot a 3 or it might have been a 4-day 2-camera project with my FX9s. And then as we got closer to locking in the dates, the agency insisted we shoot either Venice or mini LF. And it was south of me in San Antonio. Closest cameras were going to be Houston or Austin. And the budget they had is set up for an owner-operator. Like, it wasn't going to work with the rental house rate plus having an AC or a runner pick up and return the equipment. And I would have needed an extra rental day to turn it all. It just it didn't work. So I was frustrated with that one, but I had to pass on it just because it was a little bit higher end than my current kit. And in the end, I believe they shot two Venice ones, and I don't know where those cameras came from. And then I also had the opportunity to work on a couple of Venice projects this year, which is what's got me really excited about the upcoming Burano, which I'm in no rush to buy that thing because it's $25,000 MSRP, but I feel like that's the direction things are going to go for me in the mid-range world of corporate and television. Sold one Amira, still have the other one. I do have it up for sale, but I haven't updated the listing, and gosh, it's been basically a year now, and it's depreciated to, I think, about half what I originally listed it for. When I first put them on the market, they were selling in the like low 20s, high teens, and now I did a quick look just before Christmas, and I think it was like $8,000 to $12,000 or $13,000 for an Amira package, which stings. But I experienced the same depreciation trend with my C300 Mark Ones, where I did enough work last year that it was work that I would not have been booked on if I didn't have an Amira package. And the amount of income I've generated with that camera is more than the, like, say $10,000 that the camera has depreciated in resale value in the past 12 months. And I'm hesitant to even mention it now because usually before something confirms, if I start talking about it, it means it goes away. But I have an Amira job penciled. It's a commercial coming up at the end of the month. I probably just cursed myself. But anyway, that's another one where they would otherwise rent it if I didn't have it. But at least that's, revenue I can put in my pocket with equipment that's been paid off for a long, long time. Business goals for this coming year. In terms of days, like, I'd like to have a similar year to last year. I'd be totally happy with the mix of mid-range corporate and television assignments. Things I'd like to focus on. I really do enjoy shooting news and doing the live shots. I love that thrill of being out there in the field and trying to put together a story on a same day deadline or next day air, and the satisfaction of seeing your work immediately and the instant closure of learning from your mistakes and being able to, do better the following day based on what you learned. It's not like a corporate gig where it's like once a year and I take notes, but it's going to be a 12-month cycle and I got to relearn some of my same mistakes. And I want to put more days in the calendar being a local production resource for traveling DPs. And maybe this is where I reach out a little bit to the YouTube community. If you're a DP or a production and you're coming into South Texas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, the Rio Grande Valley, I'd like to be the local support for you here on the ground. Like if you need a van package and a gaffer to come out, or a B-cam op with, I had a couple this year where a DP flew in and I just made it easier on them. They came in with their cameras, but I was able to provide tripods, light stands, sandbags, light kit, van G&E package that they otherwise would have flown in with, kind of slotting into that owner-operator world on the support side, just like I do as a DP, where these projects are just a little too small to source everything from conventional rental houses and coordinating your own transportation, but they're bigger than someone just flying with 3 checked Pelican cases. If you need a van package with someone that can also mix sound for you on the day, or teleprompter with lighting, you can kind of see what I have on my website and from my vlog here. But I have no ego about any of this anymore. I like to stay busy. I get so antsy if I have 2 weeks off. I start to kind of panic a little bit because I'm losing my skill set, and I need the challenge and enjoy the hustle. In my next vlog, I'll get into some of the sales figures from last year. I touched on a little bit at the start here, 113 days worked in 2023 versus 128 in 2022. But I'll talk about where my revenue landed for the year relative to past years. I've got 25 years of time in business to sample from. I also did some adjustments for inflation, which was quite shocking and depressing. I mean, no surprise to anyone watching this that wages have not tracked with the cost of being in business and just general cost of living. And I'm not even talking about the last 2, 3, 4 years. I look back over a 20-year horizon, and it's pretty depressing being in the media trades and watching, rates have, it's more like rates haven't really changed, yet everything costs more. Talked about this with other old timers, but like in the late 90s, a high-end broadcast two-person crew in the US would cost you about $2,000. And today, 2024, it's a struggle to get $2,000. But the cameras are smaller, everything costs less now. And a shoot in 1999 that was one camera today is 3 cameras, so 3 individual rental body rates and lenses. So you kind of make up for it in volume. But man, I got to wrangle so much more kit than I did when I was first starting out in the late 90s. But anyway, I'll get into some of that and the metrics and number of customers, billable customers last year. Who are my top tier clients? Like what percentage of my annual revenue came from 1, 2, or 3 big clients versus a bunch of little ones. So if you're interested in all of that breakdown, please stick around and we'll go over it in the next video.